Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm going to make sure that I'm truly live. It says that I'm live, but we'll see here. Not yet. Doesn't show it yet. So hang in there with me if you are on. There we go. Going live. It's a Friday, and I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit more. I don't talk much about some of the stuff that I am involved with. My goal with all of this is really to get people to start 3D printing, scanning, what have you, and that's my goal. But I always get the question, "Hey, Brent, what do you do? Like, who do you work for? How do you make money?" And so I'll run through that real quick, and then I want to hop into just a little bit of the stuff that I'm super proud of about the Prosthetics and Orthotics podcast. So, first off, uh, I work for East Point Prosthetics and Orthotics, and so we have three offices, brick and mortar offices, but we use mobile options to the max. I would say for the 3D printing side of the business, we do most of our prostheses have some sort of 3D printing that is going on. Almost 100% of them get 3D printed for test sockets, and then a lot of times we'll do either a 3D printed liner and a 3D printed socket, or a 3D printed liner and maybe a traditionally fabricated socket. Some combination there of. So that is my day job. And then, uh, and it's not on the side, it's just like another day job, is Advanced 3D. And that is where we house all the intellectual property for what we do in the 3D printing space. So all the stuff that involves struts, adjustability, the densities of TPUs, that sort of thing, that is housed under Advanced 3D. And by the way, we are open for business. So if you are looking to get into 3D printing more, we're happy to meet you where you are and uh, help you on your journey, whatever that may look like. I can guarantee you either we know somebody that's gone through it or we've gone through the pain ourselves. I would love to lower your pain as you go into the 3D printing side. And I think what's important about the 3D printing side, and I have this discussion quite a bit, is you want to 3D print because there's something that you cannot do in the traditional sense. So you'll hear a lot of vendors and such, oh, you're going to 3D print to save time and money. That may be the case, but that's not really the greatest reason to 3D print. The real reason to 3D print is you have now hit a ceiling of what you can do traditionally, and you cannot create some of the things in your mind that you want to create. So you look at 3D printing that device. And I think that's really what will get you hooked in is you'll see what is possible and then really explore your creativity from there. And I think that is super important. So that's Advanced 3D. Now, Life Enabled is our nonprofit. We do a lot of work in the jungle of Guatemala, the northern part of Guatemala, and we've been there since 2006. We go twice a year. We weren't able to do that during COVID, but we believe in helping local talent also serve the people there. So we have a group, a young man that is there that was able to keep all of the patients going during COVID because he literally was walking distance from our lab. So we firmly believe in that. We also believe that with the materials and 3D printing, as specifically FDM printing, obviously we can do upper extremity prostheses, but the lower extremity stuff is definitely coming. So digital is a great way to scale expertise. We've fit patients literally all over the world because we have a phone. We have FaceTime. So that's the other beauty of 3D printing is it levels the playing field and you're able to get expertise that you wouldn't normally have. So like if there's a patient of mine that I need some help with, I'm able to call up a friend of mine that specializes or does a lot more than I do and lean on their experience in the same way that's happening in the developing world as well is those clinicians are able to lean on the experience of others and have really great outcomes because you can WhatsApp, you can Skype, you can uh, FaceTime, whatever it is, and you're able to email files back and forth. So the world, that's what's exciting, is the world truly is becoming flat in that sense. Now, I'm also the co-host with Yours Peels of the Prosthetics and Orthotics Podcast, and I'm going to actually share that screen here. Share screen. Entire screen. Well, window, just in case something pops up. So the Prosthetics and Orthotics Podcast started about 2 years ago. We're 87 episodes in. There is a ton of information. In fact, one of my favorite things to do as I go back and edit these is hear the conversation. And there are so many nuggets of wisdom in this. So, for instance, Linda, this one is skyrocketing right now. The orthotic and prosthetic industry is notorious for not telling the story. It's not that we downplay what we do, but we don't tell a good story of what we do. And so Linda gives excellent insight into what we can do for that. Um, this one was really great. Dale shared his experience. He's going to be going to orthotic and prosthetic school. He already has a background, a professional background in graphic design, some marketing, and that sort of thing. And so now he is going to be going into orthotic and prosthetic school and bringing that with him. We also, I'm just going on the ones that are right here. Mike Castilla talks about limb guard. How cool is that? He grew a practice around, hey, we need to take care of patients right after amputation. We need to put essentially a helmet over their leg. Is a great article or podcast around that. And then this one was great too, talking about the orthotic side of things, where that's where a lot of the volume is. This is where a lot of the details are, and the outcomes are in the details. I'm really proud of the Prosthetics and Orthotics podcast. The other neat thing is that you can sponsor uh, the Prosthetics and Orthotics podcast. And the neat thing about sponsoring the Prosthetics and Orthotics podcast is that your sponsorship stays on that episode for life. So, unlike magazine sponsorships or banner ads or what have you, that sponsorship stays on for life. And one of the things that yours and I love to do is really describe, kind of brag on the products as well that are on there. And so if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. It's a really great value for marketing that doesn't die, essentially die on the vine. I look at a lot of the magazines that I get specifically for the orthotic prosthetic, and I always laugh. Like, this is how you read. First, you go to the classifieds. Who's hiring? Is any of my competition hiring? Or you think about that job that may be in Alaska, right? And be like, oh, well, could I do that for? And then you may look through, read a couple articles, maybe see your friends, and it goes into the trash can. I've seen some people stack them up, but I mean, there's not a lot going on, and so you're pulling out quite a bit of money to put in a full page ad or what have you, and that thing is dying pretty much right when it comes in the mailbox. You might get seen, and then it goes in Whereas with the podcast, very untapped market, it's not going to die on the vine. So, um, 87 episodes, and you know, they're getting better and better. I listened to the first one, and I'm like, wow, that audio was pretty terrible. But we're getting better and better. So, the Prosthetics and Orthotics Podcast, Advanced 3D, is the 3D printing company. East Point Prosthetics and Orthotics is the clinical care side, and then Life Enabled is the nonprofit side. And yeah, pretty excited about all that. So now that I'm scrolling through some of this stuff, man, this one with Ben Demuth, it was great. Antonina with the Ukraine stuff was very interesting. This one about computational design really takes you to the next level of how do you think about designing your orthotic and prosthetic device? Are there things that you do every single time? Can you take a design and put it onto another design? This one with Antonius was amazing. You know, he was one of the originals that use Freeform Plus, and he comes from it from an apprentice mold making side, super detailed and great design stuff. With Kosi, with the physical therapy, really amazing. This is one of my favorites as well with Jeff Solberg, what he's doing in the partial hand space, um, and his story about how important it is to have function in hands is amazing. This one with Chris, he's been around the field for a long time, and it was great to hear his insight into, hey, how do you get started? What are some options? Of course, Justin is always great from HP, talking about different materials. We dive in the weeds there a little bit. And then this one is also really great as well with Lee, retired from HP, but a great insight into productizing something. These, man, they don't have some thumbnails. We got a few of them that don't have thumbnails. I'll have to figure out what happened there. Um, this one is probably one of my most important ones, creating global access to prostheses. We talk about the solutions. So anyway, go to the Prosthetics and Orthotics podcast. Also, if you enjoy it, leave us a review. That would be great. So if anybody has any questions or anything, let me know in the chat. If not, I think we'll close it up for the day. All right. I don't see any questions. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.